Hi guys! I am back with another question and answer video, and yesterday evening I think it was, I asked you guys to send in questions and I actually received a lot again. Thank you so much, and I will now jump straight in and answer all of them. Okay, so the first question is from Elise, and she asks, what is your morning and night routine like? I do have a quite set morning and night routine because I find that I can function best and work best if I stick to a routine. So in the morning I get up at around 6 or 6:30, and then I get into my workout clothes and go downstairs to the gym, because we have a gym in this building and it's for everyone who lives here basically, and that is really nice because I don't have to have like long ways to the gym or something, so there's no excuse not to go. And I go there and do like a 30-minute workout. Most of the time I just run, and then I get back home and I make myself a green juice. So I have a juice at home, and I try to always have everything that I need for it, like celery and spinach and stuff, and I just make myself a green juice. I don't do it really on the weekends, and I didn't do it today either. Today's Monday, so it's not like strictly every day, but most days I do it because it makes me feel very good, and I get a lot of nutrients in, which feels very nice, and I always have better skin when I do that too, so it's really good. Sorry about the light situation changing again. It is always like that during this time of the year. It keeps changing. It's super annoying. Then I go take a shower and get ready, and when I come back I start doing my breakfast and coffee. Sometimes I would do some housework if anything has to be done, but that's not always the case. So, and then I start work by around 9 or 9:30, something like that. And then for my night routine, I try to be in bed by 10 p.m. I always try to sleep pretty early, I would say, because I just feel better the next day, and I also really like getting up very early, so I need my like 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I always start working at 5 or 6. Most of the time it's 5 though. And then, so I go for a walk with Cooper together with Dominic, and then we either cook something at home and watch Netflix, or we go out and have dinner. And then I'm in bed like around 10:30, something like that. Yep. Okay, so next one is by Carolina, and she asks, what is our son's name? We did not say our name online yet, and we will probably say it when he is born, but not before that. But all I can say is it's a short name, and I don't want to say too much though. It's a very cute name, and we also have already picked out a boy name and a girl name before we got pregnant, so we always knew that this is going to be the name. Next question is by Tina, and she asks if I always finish the drawing even if I'm not happy with the way how it goes, or if I just leave it and try something else. This actually really depends on my mood. So I have different situations. Sometimes I try to get a sketch done, and I try to like flesh it out until I'm happy with the propositions, or with like the body shape, or with the face, or whatever. And then I sometimes lose my motivation right in the middle, and then I just stop because I'm like, okay, what's the point? I don't feel like drawing now. So if I would finish this, it would be rushed and not good at all. So I just leave it and do something completely else. And then sometimes I also just can't get something right, so the sketch never looks the way I want it to be, and then It depends. Sometimes I know it just needs some more work, then I just stick with it and work on it until I'm happy. When I really like the idea and everything, I just stick with it. Sometimes I even get the sketch right, and when I'm like done with the sketch, I'm like, don't like the idea anymore. After I'm done with the sketch, then I also just leave it. So yeah, it depends. I don't finish everything that I start. Definitely not. And I'm also not really getting emotional about it or something, because it's just part of the game. You do not always have good drawing days. Sometimes it just won't work out, and then I think it's better just to leave it. Nobody's like pushing you to draw, so you should always have fun doing this. Venezia asks, hi Sarah, I would like to know if you feel the same. I don't think I'm good at drawing everything. For example, sceneries, landscapes aren't my cup of tea. What is yours? Do you think an illustrator should be good at drawing everything? No. I'm comfortable with drawing people. I am kind of comfortable with drawing bodies, and I am comfortable with drawing objects, and like, you know, the time when I did like fruits and stuff and plants. I'm comfortable with drawing this, but everything that has to do with the backgrounds and sceneries and landscapes, just like you said, it's the hardest thing ever. I suck at this, like big time. So I think of course it's good if you are good in it, and it's easier to get like certain jobs if you know how to draw everything, or if you're good at drawing like backgrounds and stuff. But I know so many illustrators who have like, they have like a specific thing they always draw, and then there are things that they also are not so comfortable with. It is definitely amazing if you are good at drawing people, drawing objects, drawing landscapes, if you can do everything, but it is not necessary. So you can still be an illustrator and still make a living with drawing when you're not comfortable doing everything. So for example, if you draw food or something like that, there's always a need for it. Or if you draw portraits of people, or like, I don't know, whatever you can do. Or if you only draw backgrounds and you're not comfortable in drawing people or whatever, there are always jobs where this specific thing that you can draw is needed. So you should maybe look for that if you are not able to draw everything. And I did it just the same. Venezia also asked, when you started drawing again years ago, did you show your illustrations or talk about it with your family, friends and colleagues? I actually told my best friend and my boyfriend at that time, who is now my husband. I told them that I draw, obviously, and they really encouraged me to keep doing it, and they were really motivating. And I also told my parents about it, but they knew that I always liked drawing as a kid, so it wasn't really new to them. It was just like, oh yeah, cool. But besides them, I didn't really show my drawings to anybody. I did not tell my colleagues for a very long time. I did not tell my other friends for quite a while. And then I'm still not really so open about it when you don't know me. I'm never like, oh hi, I'm Sarah, and I post myself on Instagram. So it's just not my personality, I think. So I'm more like shy about it, because it's most of the time it's just different to what the other people do. So yeah, long story short, no, I did not tell everybody and show my stuff. I took my time with like showing my stuff to people and telling them until I felt comfortable with it. And for most people, they just found out about it, or other people told them or anything. So for a lot of people, I never told them. They just kind of know now. Elizabeth asked, how much time do you spend doing the financial part of your business, taxes and stuff? And also, what are your best Berlin recommendations? Taxes, well, like financial stuff in general, I don't spend so much time on it. It is not as time consuming as I thought it would be. So I have 2 bank accounts. I have one for personal stuff and one for business stuff. And that really helps because you are automatically organized when you have that. And once a month, like typically in the beginning of the following month, I do like gather all the receipts that I got and all the invoices that I either sent or received, and I also take a screenshot of my overview of the bank account for the last month, and I upload everything into a Google Drive folder, which I shared with my tax accountant. So that's basically all I do. And then at the end of the year, I also do like a big rundown and see if everything is right and if I have to add anything. Then I also have a spreadsheet that Dominic made for me where I always like fill in, at the end of the month, I always fill in everything that I earned. Like how much did I earn with my online shop? How much did I earn with YouTube? How much did I earn with Patreon? How much did I earn with sponsorships or whatever I have this month? And then I also fill in what my spendings were and just everything, and it kind of calculates like how was the month and how much do I have to save for taxes and how much do I have for myself and how much do I want to save for myself. So all of these things, but this typically, the whole process just takes like a couple of hours, maybe like 3 to 4 hours at the end of the month, and then that's it. My best Berlin recommendations. I don't know if you mean like food wise or sightseeing wise or like areas you can see, shops or coffee shops, or I don't know. I have to say I'm not really a tourist in my own city anymore. I used to be that, and now I'm just here, like in the area that I live in, and I have everything walking distance away, which is amazing. So I have my favorite coffee shop like 5 minutes walking here. We have like 3 amazing parks where Cooper can play, even 4. We even have 4 in walking distance. We have like these areas where like so many people are, but still we live very quietly where we live. So if you want to have like a Berlin guide or something, I can maybe do like a blog post about it. Next question is by Agatha, and she asked, hi Sarah, I was wondering if it would be better to do future training in graphic design, Photoshop, Illustrator, and so on. Do you think these formations are important to be in Illustrator? Let me tell you that I don't really work with Illustrator and I don't know much about it. I don't know anything about it actually. And I use Photoshop rarely ever. And I still work as an illustrator. So it definitely helps if you know how to... I'm sorry if I keep looking there, it is because the questions are there. Because I have my laptop over here. Sorry. But it definitely helps if you know at least the basics. So I know how to use Photoshop. I had a couple of classes in university, even though I did not study anything art related, but we had a couple of design courses and we learned the basics. And I also kind of taught that myself when I was a kid, because my mom is a graphic designer and she got me a Photoshop license, and I just tried to do like photo editing with it, and I tried all these filters and whatever you can do. So I did not have a pencil and tablet. I kind of grew up with it, but then again I was never interested because it's so complicated, and I really prefer Procreate, and this is what I use and have been using for all my client work. The only thing that I needed in my career until now was basic Photoshop skills when it comes to print media. So for example, I worked on a couple of book covers and I did all the artwork in Procreate, but then I would put it into Photoshop and do the, I don't know how it's called, like the alignment or something. Like I did the white borders and where the spine would be, and like setting the pages and things like that. So this is what I did, as well as like fonts is something that Procreate obviously doesn't have. I don't know why. It would be very helpful. And also when I send off prints to my printer, I also adjust the painting in Photoshop because I change the color mode to CMYK and things like that. So I think it helps if you have basic understanding of like all these programs. But in the end, if you don't work in a studio where it's like required to work with certain programs, in the end, what matters is your work. And the program you use is not as important. I also did some client work for a baby company here in Berlin, and they asked me to do vector-based art, and I have no idea about Illustrator, but I used the iPad Illustrator version and it did work. So at the end, like, your work is more important than the program you used. And then the other question, I also have doubt on a matter of color choices. I do not know if you have already answered this question. How do you choose the colors so they match well? I would say I have a little bit of knowledge about color theory, because I had a lot of color theory in school, and I was also like, I've always been very interested in color. And then there's also this book that I'm gonna link down below, and I showed this to you in my last question and answer video. It is the, how it's called, I always forget the name. It's called like Colors and Light for the Realistic Painter something. And he really explains color so well and how colors in nature work. And then there's also this one rule that I always live by that makes the drawing come to, like, not come to life, but it makes it a little bit more realistic. It's just like this little like shadow and light trick. So you have like an object and a light source, and let's say the light source is warm light, so for example the sun, and it hits the object, it means the shadow has to be cold. And you can really see that when you are in the snow, for example, and it's like a bright day and the sun is shining, the shadows will be bright blue, because you can see that so well because the snow is white. But you can also see that when you just go outside and go for a walk, you're gonna see that sunlight makes bluish shadows or cold shadows. And same goes like the other way around. So if you have a cold light source, for example like an artificial light or something like that, the shadow will be warm. And it's just like little things like that that makes all the difference. I also never ever use black or white for shadows and lights, which also really makes an illustration pop if you do colorful shadows instead of like just black shadows. Another thing that I try to always do is I try to stick to a very limited color palette, so I don't like using greens and blues and pinks and reds and yellows all in one picture, because you gotta be such a pro if you want to make that painting look great. And I am not, and it's much easier if you just pick like 2 colors, 3 colors, and then that's it. If you look at my paintings, you're gonna see that in every painting I do not have a lot of main colors. I always stick to just a couple of colors, and that really helps me. Next question. It is, oh my gosh, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Seyun, was that right? She asked, hi Sarah, how do you teach yourself to improve your art when you just started? Do you go out of your comfort zone a lot in the beginning? I improved my art in the beginning by actually practicing a lot, and what really helped me right in the beginning was I bought some books about how to draw manga, because I really wanted to draw people. I had no idea how to do that. I did not know about proportions or male bodies, female bodies. I did not know how to do like those joints and everything that has like gives movement to a body. I did not know how to draw that it looks some kind of good. So I bought these manga books, like those are like drawing tutorials but like manga style. And I think even though I was a kid when I had these, I have the feeling you can still definitely see the influence in my work now. And later I just watched tutorials online on YouTube and stuff, and I just practiced a lot and saw how other artists did it, tried to see what I do wrong, tried to get better every day. Yeah. And I did not go out of my comfort zone a lot, so I'm still like that. So I'm very comfortable drawing people and objects, as I just said, and I'm not comfortable in drawing backgrounds and scenery. And as you know, I also never practice it. Like at the moment at least, I'm just not interested. So I know there will be a time when I'm like, okay, now on to new horizons, and I'm gonna be like, I really want to draw that. But for now, I'm just happy with staying inside my comfort zone. Do you practice drawing more backgrounds or objects? Objects, yeah. I try to make them really simple and cute. There's so many great illustrations with amazing backgrounds, and I'm always like, oh, I wish I could draw that, but I'm just not so good in this. Roberta asked, do you think about doing a live meet and greet someday in the future? I would have to figure out where most of you guys are, and like maybe if I would travel somewhere and it's like a place where you guys are, I would maybe do that, but I'm really shy and it makes me really nervous to meet people. So I would be super weird, but I wouldn't say no, but there's nothing planned yet. How is your February so far? Pretty chill. I'm really taking it slow with work, and it was a pretty nice February so far. It's also starting to get more sunny outside, which is really nice. Do you ever think about living in a village, not in a big city? I'm not really sure. So I come from a village and I grew up in a village, so I know how it is, and then I moved to big Berlin, so I also know how the big city life is. And for now I definitely prefer the big city life because of everything that it has to offer. As I said, I can walk like 10 minutes and have everything that my heart desires. If I live in a village, I just don't. And we really love going to restaurants or going outside for breakfast or just getting coffee or something like that. And if I cannot do this anymore because I live in a village, it would be an adjustment, definitely. So I think one day we will definitely move away from Berlin, but for now I'm not ready. What you like more, digital drawing or traditional? I go through phases, so at the moment I have a digital phase. I just love drawing digitally, and sometimes I have traditional phases, so I would just like pull out my watercolors every day. So it keeps changing. It's always like a couple of months digital, a couple of months traditional. What camera do you use to take photos for your Instagram? I always just use my phone. It is the iPhone XS, I think, the smaller one. And yeah, it takes amazing photos. Where do you find info about your plants and how to grow them? Just on the internet. I have like a basic knowledge of what plants require what. And if I want to know more, sometimes I just forget about it and I have to reread everything. I just Google a plant and then put the word care behind it, and then there are like a ton of pages. And in the beginning, when I started to like teach myself about plants, I would just write everything down and like this is the Monstera plant and it needs that much water, it needs that much sun, and so on. So yeah, and with time you just kind of remember how each plant wants to be cared for. Was that proper English? I don't know. Venezia also asked, do you always color your drawings? No, not always. If I just sit down and sketch like one thing after another, I don't color it. But if I want to do like a proper illustration, of course I put color. Bree asks, hi Sarah, are you eventually going to add your illustrations to background? Why is there such a thing today? Yeah, I think I already kind of answered that yes, I will when I feel like it, but I don't feel like it right now because I'm really bad in it. And like for now I have the goal to learn about anatomy and really be good at drawing all kinds of poses, and that takes a while. That takes like a long time. And I think once I'm comfortable with this, I will tackle the background thing. How long does an illustration take you? Anything between 2 and 5 hours. Do you keep a written journal, travel journal, art journal, or even sketch from life? I would love to actually, because I really like having this. I only have my written planner and there's always a little journal section. And I also use that section, but it's not like a proper journal. And I also don't do travel journaling, even though I love seeing it from other people, but I just don't do it myself. And I also don't really have a sketchbook anymore. So I have a lot of sketchbooks filled up from when I started, but now when I sketch, I just really prefer Procreate. And and also from time to time I attend live drawing classes. We have great ones here in Berlin. But I also always take my iPad with me and sketch on the iPad. Nina asks, hi Sarah, I love your work and videos. Thank you. Just wondering if you have any plan to travel in 2019. We actually today, we just booked a little mini vacation with my parents in Austria in summer. The whole idea came from my sister, who heard about this lake and she really wants to go to this lake. I'm so sorry with the sun. Oh, whatever. You can just like go on and do your things and treat this video as a podcast. I should have said that in the beginning. Now I'm almost done. Yeah, where was I? So we just booked a vacation in Austria in summer with my family, and it's just like we're just gonna be in this house. There's nothing around us. It's just gonna be super quiet, and we are already going to have a little son, so that's gonna be very interesting, I guess. Any illustration fairs you recommend to visit? I haven't been to many. My favorite one was definitely CTN Expo in Burbank, near Los Angeles in California. If you go there, you're gonna see all the Disney artists, all those great legends, they are there. And you're also gonna see Instagram people. So it was like the coolest experience ever to see all of these people, to finally meet them. And I would also love to have a little booth over there one day. So not this year because of the baby, but maybe next year or something. I don't know, let's see. But I haven't really been to other illustration fairs. Another question is by Anna Meyer. Oh, I'm so sorry if I don't know how to pronounce your name. How do you stay motivated? Like when you get down in the dumps and you hate or are disappointed with your art. I definitely have those times every now and then, not really often, because most of the time, like, I know I cannot have a good drawing day every day. And when I draw and draw and draw and I just realize that, okay, this is just not working out, I just stop doing it and go on with other things and don't really think about it anymore. And also I don't get disappointed of myself, because I'm like, okay, you're just human, that's just normal, you cannot always be good at everything, so that's okay with me. But sometimes I have these phases where I keep drawing every day and it still looks shitty and I'm not happy with it and I have no ideas anymore, I'm not motivated anymore, and this is bad, guys. This is really, really bad. This is something nobody wants to feel, but I had one of these dumps this summer. It was actually when I found out I was pregnant. Like, my whole world was flipping upside down and I completely lost all the motivation to draw because just so much going on. I just not had, like, I wasn't like quiet enough to just sit down and draw. I had that time and it actually took me a couple of months to get back on track. Usually what's funny about those times though is every time I have this, at the end I come back much stronger than when I started, you know what I mean? Like, I used to draw these objects and fruits and, I don't know, plants for months and months and months, and then I had this dump. And then I was like, after months, I was like, I kind of want to go back into drawing people. And I haven't drawn people for ages. So now I draw people again because I had that dump and because after weeks of not drawing, something told me to draw people again. And then I kind of got all my motivation back because it was something new and exciting. And yeah, when I have this phase, I just kind of let it go. So I would try to keep drawing, but if it just won't work out, I just stop drawing for a while. I go outside, I do other things, I play games, I read, I watch Netflix or whatever. And then every once in a while I will try to draw when I feel like it. When I don't feel like it, I just don't. And yeah, and then I just get back into it when I feel like it. I know that eventually I will feel like it again. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes shorter, but it's just a sign of being overworked and yeah, kind of not feeling your very best. So you should definitely start working on your feeling your best again, like being healthy, maybe working out, trying a new hobby or meeting your friends, and then it will come back. At least this is what always happens to me, so yeah. Venicia asks, when you plan your week, do you plan to do a certain amount of drawings? And how do you deal with a bad drawing day? No, I don't plan my drawings. I actually draw when I have time, which happens much more often now that I don't have the shop anymore. And I am very thankful for that actually, because I would never like produce as many drawings as I do right now if I would still have the shop. So that's a really good thing about this whole mess. Sometimes I draw like 3 a week, sometimes just 1 a week, sometimes even 5, but that barely ever happens. How do you deal with a bad drawing day? If it's just a day, I just, yeah, call it a day and stop drawing and kind of forget about it and just accept that, okay, today is not a good drawing day. And do something else and then try it again the next day. Most of the time, next day, everything is fine again. So I don't really focus too much on it. I'm not like beating myself up. I'm not like, oh my god, I have a bad drawing today, I'm so bad. Like, no, I think it's not healthy. I think just realizing that you're just a human and you have good and bad days. And if it's not a good drawing day, then so be it. It's not the end of the world. She also has a question about veganism and if I take extra vitamins like B12. At the moment, being pregnant, I do take pregnancy vitamins, or how are they called? I don't know how they're called, but they actually have B12 in them. When I'm not pregnant, I also take B12, but we have this like, it's like a little spray dose, and every once in a while, like every couple of days, we just take a spritz. How do you say that? The blood tests are always good. I always have enough vitamin B12, so I think that's fine. About pregnancy, do you have some tips to share with us? I mean, stuff that may help you feel better, pillows or clothes? Yeah, I have like a whole list of things that really helped me with my pregnancy. Like in the beginning, I had some days where I felt a little bit sick. It wasn't really bad for me, but I couldn't eat anything or even just think about food. Oh my god. I had this like ginger lemonade, and that really helped. So anything with ginger tea, if you can do that, eating a ginger, or just like having a ginger lemonade with a lot of actual ginger in it, this really helps with the pregnancy sickness. And then also, as your belly grows, of course your other organs will be pushed upwards and they only have like half the size. So breathing is harder, you cannot eat as much anymore, things like that. I always have like smaller meals but more frequently. That really helps. And I also try to not have huge meals in the night because I will not be able to sleep very well. I also have this pregnancy pillow, but I don't really like it, honestly. It's like huge. It's like a whole thing that you put around your body, and it is very comfortable, but I don't know, it also takes away a lot of space, so I'm not really sure. But about clothes, I have the best like yoga pants you could buy, because I am now week 32, and until now I haven't bought any maternity clothes, but I have the best yoga pants. It's like it's just perfect. It covers the belly, it actually stays up, and it's soft. It feels like you have like nothing on. And then I was like googling the pants because I was like, I want to get more of these, and everybody said like those are like the hidden maternity yoga pants, because even though, and they're by Lululemons, and even though they don't say it's like for pregnancy, a lot of pregnant women have it because it's just so comfortable. And they're called the Align yoga pants. They're actually very pricey. I think they're like $100, but it is honestly all I wear during my whole pregnancy. I always wear this. I have 2 pairs and I always just switch them out. I wear the same thing every day. Do you feel relaxed or a bit stressed about delivery? Sorry if this is too personal. I feel quite anxious about it, and to know what other women think or feel might help. Actually, I am not afraid at all. I'm actually kind of really looking forward to it, because I just like finally want to meet my son. Cannot wait anymore. And I know that like being in labor and giving birth will be the moment I meet him for the first time. Sorry about the light. So this is like something I'm just really excited about. I'm also not afraid that it will hurt, because I already know that it's gonna hurt, so, and it has to be done. There's no way around it. It's just, I must get through this. So I'm kind of like, I'm not really afraid actually. I don't know why. Maybe this is gonna come when it starts. But yeah, I think you don't have to be afraid, because 1 billion women already did it, and they, like, the moment you have your baby in your arms, it just doesn't matter what happened these hours before. There are doctors around you. You are gonna be in good hands. Everything is gonna be alright. Like, what helps me is just like knowing it's a very natural process. You are not like testing new waters. It's something that is the most natural thing ever, and it's just gonna work out. So don't be afraid about it. Just embrace it, that you are a woman and that you can experience something like birth, and after this you're gonna feel like superwoman or a lion. Like you just gave birth. You are so strong. There's actually a new one that just came in. Okay, we do this one and then we stop. How did you deal with difficult client situation or people wanting you to do art for free? I'm sorry, Laurel, if this is happening to you. If people want me to draw for free, I just say, like, either I don't even respond because obviously they don't value my work or my job or my skills, and they don't know that this is actually a job, or I just say, I'm sorry, I don't work for free. How do I deal with difficult client situations? I had a couple of these. I had a case where someone wanted me to do endless revisions and endless rounds of, can you change this, can you do this, can you do this, can you do this. So what I did was I made a contract and I said that this amount includes like 3 rounds of revisions, and then I would like define what a round of revision is. And also with like communication, I try to be as open and as clear as I can be. So I try to involve them in every step and let them know whenever I did something before moving on too fast and then the client changing everything. So I try to be really open about the process, and I also let them know in the beginning what my process would be like, when, like at what stages they will see something. And whenever I send something to them, I also make sure to tell them what I need to know now. So I think, yeah, open communication is really what helps. How did you know how to write contracts for companies who wished to license your artwork? I never worked with licensing, but I know that there is this website called, I forgot the name, but I will definitely link it down below. And I know that they have like a lot of contracts, like templates, and if you pay for a membership, you also have someone who will help you with any kind of questions you have. So I know this because the illustrator called Holly Exley, which is one of my favorite illustrators, she is a member of this illustration club, or I don't know how it's called, and she always says that it's very helpful. And she also used some templates for her contracts, and she also did some licensing, I think. Oh, the sun is gone, yay. Those were all the questions that you guys sent in. Thank you so much for everybody who left a comment or left a question. This time it was really interesting questions. I'm gonna go ahead and edit the video now, and it will probably be online Thursday. Probably doesn't even make sense telling you because you're already watching it. I hope the answers were helpful to you and okay, and I see you in my next video. Bye!